Hello students, welcome back to Logistics in Manufacturing, Supply Chain and Distribution. So this is our unit 4, part 1. So we're going to see mainly about distribution and its channels. So first, what is the role of distribution? Distribution as a whole of the activities taking place in time and space from the end of production until the moment the product enters to the final consumption. It owns an intermediate role between the production and consumption. That is, when you state about the role between the production and consumption, that is from the production of the raw material to the manufacturer to the prototype, everything comes under distribution until the consumption of the customer. So this is the main role of distribution. So what is distribution in supply chain management? So distribution management refers to overseeing the movement of goods from supplier or manufacturer to the point of sale. That is, seeing whatever happens from the movement from the raw material supplier or to the manufacturer to the point of sale to the customer, to the usage of the customer. That is the main attribute of distribution management. So it is a main term that refers to numerous activities and process such as packaging, inventory, warehousing, supply chain, and logistics. See, where when you say about packaging, inventory, warehousing, because it is going to be repeatedly happening in a different form from the raw material supplier to the manufacturer until it reaches the main motto of to the customer. So the role of distributors in today's economy. So distributors play a vital role in smoothly connecting manufacturers and customers. So that is one of the major aspect which every company has to look into it, because that is one of the important role. So role of distributors is very key. So they can expedite the response time, that is increase the response time to the customer's need, enhance a company's reach. See, when you expedite the response time, your company is going to reach each and every customer and even create value added packages that complement a company's product offering. So, physical distribution includes all the activities associated with the supply of finished product at every step from the production line to the consumers. Important physical distribution function includes customer service, order processing, inventory control, transportation and logistics, and packaging and materials, as we discussed in the before slide. So, channels of what is the importance of the distribution channel? Channels of distribution for a product, the route taken by the title to the goods, they are from the producers to the ultimate customers. It is very important because the product in one place while the consumption scattered in many places. Because when you think of any product, say for example, you're thinking about a mobile phone, it is produced at any one point, but different users are being scattered all over the country, right? So even in abroad also, a brand's product will be distributed. So that is the case where you have to see the importance of the distribution channel. A distribution channel is a chain of business or intermediaries through which a good or service passes until it reaches the end consumer. It can include wholesaler, retailers, distributors, and even the e-commerce that is stated as the internet over here. So distribution is the process of making a product or service available for the consumer or the and user who needs it, whoever it could be. This can be done directly by the producer or service provider, or using indirect channels with the distributors or intermediaries. Let us discuss in detail. So distribution, the movement of goods and service from producer to customer. So marketing channel, which is also a distribution channel, system of marketing institutions that enhances the physical flow of goods and service, ownership title from producer to consumer or a business user, logistic, coordinating the flow of information, goods, services among members of the distribution channel, where supply chain management is going to play a huge role. So control of activities of purchasing, processing, and delivery through which raw materials are transformed into products and made available to the final consumers. So, what is a broad range of activities which is aimed at? Efficient movement of niche goods from the end of the production line to the consumer. So, everything is stated from whatever product is produced from the initial raw material to the consumer. Those have been uh, given away. What are the four functions of distribution channel? Facilitating the exchange process by reducing the number of marketplace contacts necessary to make a sale, where adjusting for discrepancies in the market's assortment of goods and services via sorting, standardizing the exchange transaction by setting expectation for products, because where standardization is one of the key phase where it makes it uh, a fair platform for everyone to reach that product through different forms, facilitating searches by both buyers and sellers. So this is one of the main aspect of e-commerce in today's competitive markets. So effective logistic requires proper supply chain management, control of the activities of purchasing, processing, and delivery. Delivery through which raw materials are transformed into products and made available to final consumers. So these are the various effective logistic which is required so that for a smooth transaction. So complete sequence of suppliers and activities that contribute to the creation and delivery of the merchandise. That is the sequence of suppliers. Different suppliers are being handled. Say for example, if you take an automotive, there are nearly more than 200 to 300 suppliers for manufacturing of one single automobile. So how they contribute to the creation and delivery of merchandise, because everyone has to be very precise. So it begins with raw material inputs for production. So when you talk about raw material in an automobile, for example, if you just name it, you have an indicator, you have an indicator signal, you have a door handle, you have buttons, you have small motors for the windows, we have mats, we have seat covers. We are just talking about the raw materials for the product, which is of very small in size and easy to transport. Think about the products or the raw materials you need for putting an engine, for putting an ECU board. So everything is begins with the raw material input for production. That has to be very precise until ends with the movement of the final product to the customer. So there are various number of stages between where it is the input from raw material to the customer. So these takes place in a two direction, upstream and downstream. That is, information is one of the key phase in one of the supply chain management. Information passing is one of the major attributes. So the distribution function accounts for half of a firm's total marketing cost. So when you talk about distribution, we never take into account what is a financial constraint. So it takes nearly half of the firm's total marketing. So business are re-examining each link of their supply chains to identify the activities that do not add value for the customers, because no customer is ready to pay for non-value added any kind of a stages, and asking them to pay for us is one of the biggest uh, downfall for the producers. In these aspects, another third party logistic firms specialized in handling logistical activity comes in a huge uh, help and all. So physical distribution. So a system is consisting of these elements. So customer service, transportation, inventory control, protective packaging, and materials handling. So this is also one of the key aspect, because you need to transport any glass kind of materials. It has to be packed very protectively so that it is not damaged at any phase. Processing the order and warehousing. So these are the major system which contains the physical distribution. Following that, customer service channel. So first we are seeing all these things. So we'll see them in the detail. Over here, which states the goal and define acceptable performance for the quality of service a firm expects, which is expected by the firm to deliver to its customers. After these standards are defined, Designers assemble other physical distribution components to meet these standards at the lowest possible total cost. So this is one of the major customer service standard. So what are the components of overall cost? So components of overall cost, if you take, transportation is one of the major costs, warehousing, inventory control, customer service or order processing, administrative costs. So these are the various components of overall cost. Transportation and delivery expense add approximately 10% to the product cost at any, to take any product. 10%, say for example, a car is worth about 10 lakhs. It means that 1 lakh is being spent on transportation and delivery expenses alone, because that is how your cost plays a huge role in transportation. Key to cost control is often careful management of relationship with shipping firms, because when you put up a contract with shipping firms and all, it becomes one of the main attribute to reflect on your product cost. Over here we see freight carriers uses two basic rates. One is a class rate and commodity rate or a special rate. So what are the different types of carriers? Because we saw what is a carrier, right? So carriers are nothing but like a bigger transportation vessels, which is used mostly shipping will be the major aspect. So over here, common carriers provide transportation service as for higher carriers to the general public. Contract carriers for higher transporters that do not offer their service to the general public, uh, rather than it is a contract between a private firms. So, what is the private carrier? Transporters that provide service solely for internally generated freight. That is one particular company. What is the difference between contract and private? Is contract is you put a contract with one or two companies. Private is which is solely performed to the internally generated freight for a one single company. So we have discussed all these things. So let us see highways. Railways is the one of the major transportation modes, most effective ways for moving bulky commodities over long distance, enjoying resurgences, because railway roads are extends more internally to all the states and everything. So intermodal operation combination of transport modes to improve customer service and achieve cost advantages. So definitely intermodal operations has to be taken into account, but because that is one of the key aspects. So motor carriers, relatively fast and consistent service, receives greater revenue per ton shipped. Technologically, satellite communication system can be used to monitor them, has improved the efficiency of the trucking. Because when you see motor carriers, this is where we have seen two things: truck full load and truck half load. So one of the key thing is motor carriers can be combined of two companies can be shared, or else one single company can be taken because of the truck full load. So motor carriers can reach up to any part of the states, and it is easy to transport to the any companies or not. So companies mostly prefer trucking from intermodal, that is from the any railway roads or shipping. From there they use a trucking mode so that it is transported very effectively to the companies. Next is the water carriers. As we said, like water carriers are mainly for the much bigger loads, inland or barge lines, ocean going deep water ships. Barge lines carry bulky load, low unit value, commodities such as grain, lumber, and steel. Because when you see a bulkiness, the bulkiness doesn't actually contribute to the entire value. So it will be a low unit value. So freight rates are based on again size of the vessel, cost of fuel, security requirements. When you think of the size of the vessel, yes, there are ships also has different classes. Much if you're transporting crude oil, it's one of the biggest containers, and definitely it needs a lot of fuel, and definitely the security requirements for that is much higher, because it is not a low unit, it is a high unit value. When you think of transporting steel, those things and all, the security requirements could be a little bit fair enough to be reduced. So the next is the pipelines. Effectively transport natural gas and oil, one of the biggest uh, 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 producers are in South India and North India. The thing is, transporting these things through pipelines is the efficient manner because it's low maintenance and dependable, and definitely has a better view what is happening, how much we are transporting, everything can be recorded also. Disadvantage is few locations accommodate only a small number of products, relatively slow, because few locations is like just like that we cannot put up the pipelines because it is dangerous, and it has to be taken in a lot of failure analysis so that whether the pipeline is could fail or not based on the geographical location. So can accommodate only a small number of products at a particular time, and you cannot push up the natural gas or oil just like that. So it has to be relatively transmitted slowly. So that also has to taken into be account. Next is the one of the biggest thing is like air freight. So declining in certain market sectors, firms are adapting. UPS is offering two less expensive non-guaranteed service. That is, one is air freight direct and consolidated. Direct is nothing but like as you said, it's a like giving it for only a particular company. Consolidated is like uh, many different consumers, the producers can be consolidated for transporting from one point to another point. That's right. When you talk about it, it's quite expensive because it consumes a lot of fuel, and only a certain number of products could accommodate at a particular time. One of the major thing is air fried like when you talk about prototypes transferring or any material special cases materials transferring, air fried is one of the best possible ways so that it reaches on time and the transportation time is very less. So that is one of the important thing you can see it over here. Finally comes to the warehousing. Storage warehouses, it holds the goods for moderate to a longer period in an attempt to balance the supply and demand for producers and purchasers. That is, when you're seeing some fluctuations in the market, many companies uses these storage warehouse for adapting to fulfill the demand by the consumers, especially if you take into account like tomatoes and all. That is done through warehousing through water supply. So distribution warehouses assembles and redistributes products, keeping them moving as much as possible. So this is like an intermediate warehouse where many products comes in and assembles and being redistributed. So it is more like a process which is done by a third party. So this is the difference warehouses, storage and distribution warehouse. Finally, automated warehouses technology can cut distribution costs and improve customer service. So automated warehouse is something which you can stack up one over the other, and with the help of forklifts or any other automated technologies, you can transport them very effectively also. This has been actually incorporated by Amazon and many other cement manufacturers company. Even one of the companies in Chennai has incorporated for transporting the welding wires and all. So warehouse locations is one of the main influence because just like that you cannot put the warehouse locations at any point because you have to see the geographical aspect of the location. You have to see how much distance it is from the market and also the producer. So everything will be taken into account. Is there any weather possibility so that warehouse is being compromised or not? So main influences on choice warehousing and material handling costs, delivery costs from warehouse to the customers as we discussed. So warehouse locations affects the customer service. So it has to be taken into account so that your customer service is not affected. Right. So inventory control system is companies must balance in maintaining enough inventory to meet the customer with demand. So that is one of the major thing. Incurring unneeded costs for carrying excess inventory. To manage costs, firms uses just-in-time RFID technology that uses a tiny chip with identification information that can be read by a scanner using radio waves from a distance. When you talk about just in time is one of the old methodology in industrial engineering. If you take that, TAFE is one of the company which is using just in time for getting their products for manufacturing per day. So that it doesn't have a bigger inventory, so that the cost is reduced. RFID technology is to identify any products, whether it is related or it is related to some other manufacturing line or not. Also, RFID allows us to record the particular product in an effective manner, so that we are not losing the track of any products at any point of time. So everything is transparently, and we can, it is available, data is available, so that we can retrace our steps at any point of time. So it uses a very tiny chip. So it has some identification information which is pre-fed into that. So it can be used. A small scanner could be used. So you can see this in every set of a supermarket. So that you see over there is a barcode. Here RFID is like a small chip is inserted, so that whatever data you put in can be read back again. Then follow that vendor management inventory. So this is VMI is one of the key phase, that is uh, what is available in your vendors, and when it has to be ordered back. So everything can be automated over here. So when you see about protective packaging materials and handling, activities for moving products within the plants, warehouse, and transportation terminals. So within the plants, it's not a big case, but even then also it has to be transported very effectively and safely, because you don't have to damage the goods. So unitizing, combining as many as packages as possible into each load that moves within outside a facility will reduce the cost very highly, and also make it available at any point of time. So containerization is combining several unitized loads into single well-protected load for shipment. So if you see, a good example is Coca-Cola cup, because in Coca-Cola, if you say Coca-Cola, it has different variants, that is different size of the 100 ml, 200 ml, 300 ml, 500 ml, 1 liter, 2 liters. Uh, so different variants are available, as well as different product is available. So when you containerize those things and transport into a single well-protected load for shipment, one particular geographical location can handle all these things. So it is easy for us to handle them. Also, it could be well protected for shipment also. So with this, we'll wind up the part unit 4 part 1. Thank you.